Mask madness making a comeback in liberal blue states. New York City moving to a high COVID alert level and urging people to start covering up indoors, but stopping short of requiring it. 2 New Jersey school districts are bringing back mask mandates, and California could be getting close to reinstating mask rules and restrictions. Dr. Fauci questioned on whether more lockdowns will be coming.
If you're going to lock down, you've got to use it temporarily for a reason to prepare you to be able to unlock down and get the public prepared for that. Right now, looking forward, I don't see the need of lockdown in the future unless something really very, very unusual happens. I don't like mandating things. I don't like punishing people for not doing something. As a public health person, I would say, why don't we all pull together to get people vaccinated? We wouldn't have to worry about essentially putting what appears to be and is, in fact, a penalty if you don't.
You know, Dana, I'm thinking like this stuff is going to be with us for a long time. Thank you, whoever created it. I'm actually amazed that we have not made a single arrest. This has killed millions of people and no one's going to hang.
Right.
That just blows my mind. You know what I'm thinking? Yeah. Isn't that weird that like this is bigger than a world war and nobody's going to hang?
And also, you could collectively get the 75% of people who say the country's on the wrong track. You could get 75% of the people to agree to be, collectively focused on making sure it doesn't happen again.
Who did this? Yeah, anyway, I went up. But shouldn't COVID be treated almost like as mundane as the cold and the flu now, even though it wasn't? But now just something that is part of our lives.
Partly that's also because we are not where we were in March of 2020. Right. There are vaccines that you can choose to get that are effective. There are boosters that you can choose to get. And now, if you're over 65, you can get yet another one that might become something like people who choose to get a flu shot every year. I decided to do that, and it's helped me. The other thing is there are treatments. Mm-hmm. There's Paxlovid, which works very well. There's Regeneron. There's monoclonal antibodies. There's a lot of things. Now, there's also the issue that viruses mutate, so you have to keep up with vaccines, but that's what you do with the flu shot. Mm-hmm. That's what pharmaceutical companies do every year. Mm-hmm. Also asked Josh Earnest from United Airlines today. He was on America's Newsroom. Said, are masks coming back? And they said, you do not need to be masked to be safe on a plane.
He might have been joshing you.
I don't think so. I thought he was very earnest, actually.
He was earnest. Geraldo, is it...
We're staffs for that.
Part of the challenge is assessing risk, right? Like people have some people can't assess. They just...
But I have an idea.
Sure.
Can I?
Yes, go for it.
I don't mean to interrupt your question, but, having lived in L.A., have a smog alert thing. Have a COVID alert where it's mild,
that's a good point.
Medium, moderate, severe, extreme, have it. So the weatherman tells you in the morning, it's 25 degrees today, it's going to be snowy, and the COVID meter is on.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Then it's up to you what you're going to do. Make it voluntary.
That's the smartest idea you've ever had.
I might, yes.
I'm a font.
Yes. So, Emily, what do you make of this? Are you going to go back to masking?
Oh, definitely, especially while on air. No, I think that the biggest thing that we have in terms of risk assessment and in terms of the tools under our belt that, for example, Mayor Eric Adams referenced is data. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's why we know that what is most important to protect is the vulnerable. When Dr. Fauci is talking about the lockdown as a penalty, he's right in that regard because the purpose of it was to flatten the curve. Well, now we have all of that data that knows exactly who is vulnerable, who is at risk. And the fact that for the most part, those that are vaccinated and the antibodies and everything else that we have leads to the fact that it won't be some major attack on the hospital system, right? Everyone can just calm down, especially Dr. Fauci and especially whoever runs the masks that go into schools.
It's funny, though, Jesse, about the idea of risk. It's like there'll be people that will wear masks, but, they'll engage in risky behavior. And you can see it when guys are on electric bikes without helmets wearing a mask.
Right. And so on LSD.
Yeah.
Right. They'll take LSD, but they won't take an mRNA.
Why do you have to bring that up?
So, you do ride quickly, Greg. Very proud of you. You brought up in the beginning, why hasn't anybody hung?
Yeah.
Well, because we were collaborating in the lab.
Absolutely.
Scientifically, financially, it's like you don't prosecute the mob if your wife's a mob lieutenant.
Right.
You just let it go away. Mm-hmm. That was a good idea, Geraldo. And I'm never wearing a mask again, except where, Greg?
Where? At our Eyes Wide Shut parties.
At our Eyes Wide Shut party.
Mind by
That's a movie. Yes.
We'll explain to you what that is later.
Yes. It's an underrated movie.
One more thing.
Yes. We'll skip to the E block. All right.